Hey, it's Palm Sunday once again, and Jesus has something to say to you from this story. Hi, I'm Dr. Chuck Day. I want to draw your attention on a Palm Sunday to Jesus riding into Jerusalem on a donkey that no one has ever ridden on. In Luke's version, we find it in chapter 19, and it starts in verse 29, and he bothers to mention two villages. He says, Jesus coming from the east, and he comes towards Bethphage and Bethany. Now, we kind of skip over those names as unimportant, but actually I think Luke may have something to say that really helps to draw the story out. Because the name Bethphage means the house of the unripe fig. That doesn't sound too devotionally interesting, but hold on. The other is Bethany, Beit Oni, that is house of humility. And I want you to understand that the two disciples that go are sent by Jesus to go to a village in front of them and find this colt or this donkey tied up, untie it, loose it, and bring it back to him. And they're given this command. If anybody questions you, say the Lord has need of it. Now, you've heard probably many sermons on this, that Jesus wants to ride on you and be seated on you, and that he'll use any donkey. And that's not an untrue application here. But I want to draw your attention to a couple of things. No one has ever picked this donkey to ride on. No one has ever ridden on it. I don't even know if it was used for plowing or what the story was, but it is someone you and I would not have picked. Jesus is picking people that the world doesn't pick. Those who are unripe and those who are humble. If a revival is going to be coming, it's not going to be through someone who's famous. It's going to be someone that God picks. That Jesus is being crowned king. He's being proclaimed Lord. He has the crowds, waving palm branches to welcome him into Jerusalem, that welcome him into not just the house of the unripe fig or the house of humility, but to the house of the Lord, even what he calls a house of prayer. And I want you to understand something. You've been loosed for a reason. We look at, someone who's going to come to Jesus because they need Jesus. But Jesus says, tell them the Lord needs him. Jesus needs you. Jesus wants you. He wants to loose you. He wants to set you free. He wants to draw you to himself and use you in ministry. Understand this. Jesus could have walked down to Jerusalem. He could have walked down the Mount of Olives and into the city. He chose to ride. Why? Matthew is the one that gives us this. It's from in Matthew 21, verse 4, a quotation from Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. Behold, your king comes to you humble, sitting on a donkey, on the foal of an ass. And the idea is this. He wants to be humble on someone who is humble. In Isaiah 66, verses 1 and 2, God says, heaven is my throne, the earth is my footstool. What house will you build for me? He chooses to dwell with those who are humble and have a contrite spirit, a broken spirit. He's come to you. He's loosed you. He's set you free to ride on you into being proclaimed king all around. This is Palm Sunday, where we celebrate his being king. We celebrate that we have a humble king on a humble vessel. Let me bless you with a revelation of that. In Jesus' name, may you understand that Jesus wants to come on you, to dwell with you, to be used and celebrated with the vessel that he's chosen, that no one else would have chosen. You may feel you're unripe. You may feel that you're not worthy. Blessings upon you. Jesus has chosen you.